Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another car ride review. Today's car ride review, we're going to talk about the new Netflix movie Bright, starring Will Smith. I had a chance to sit down and watch it last night, and just thought I'd share my thoughts on it. It was okay. It was a decent movie. Basically, the story of Bright, you've got Orcs and Dwarves and Elves and humans all commingling together. The Orcs are kind of treated badly. They're kind of looked at like the lower race. So basically what happens with this movie is an Orc is added to the LA police force, and he ends up being Will Smith's partner. And I guess before the movie even starts, Will Smith ends up getting shot by an Orc, and so where the movie starts, this is like post Will Smith's recovery, and I don't think he was injured. I think it hit his bulletproof vest. So there's a lot of tension between Will Smith and his partner. What a lot of it is that nobody on the police force wants an Orc on the police force. They don't trust them because, you know, there's Orc clans and they have blood laws, and those are above the rest. And then at a certain age, all the Orcs get what they call blooded, so they can grow their tusk and stuff like that. And this particular guy was never blooded. And so not only are the humans rejecting him, but the Orcs are rejecting him. So similar story to a lot of movies when it comes to this little duo here. So basically the story for this movie is that there used to be this Dark Lord, and he was really evil, and he killed a lot of people, and at one point the Orcs sided with him, and that's kind of why they are in the situation they're in, was because they tried to side with this Dark Lord and take over the world, and the Dark Lord got taken out. So in this world, you know, there exist, you know, guns and technology and things like that, but there also exists magic, but it seems to be limited, and only certain people can use it, and you have to have a wand to use it. That's just kind of what I'm getting from it. So the special people that can use the wands are called Brights. Most of them are elves, some of them can be humans. And there's this group called the Inferni that are trying to bring the Dark Lord back using the wands. And then there's this group called the Shield of Light who are trying to prevent that from happening. And so the way this story works is there's this group of elves that are trying to bring the Dark Lord back, and one of them breaks away because they don't want to bring the Dark Lord back, and they go on the run. Will Smith and his partner get caught up in it, and so they end up protecting this girl. Well, of course, there's a bunch of bad cops that want the wand because the wand can grant wishes like money and things like that. So they want Will Smith, you know, to kill his Orc partner and come with them, and they'll get the wand and they'll use it and make a lot of money. But, you know, Will Smith, he takes the high road, he won't do it. But on top of that, they were technically planning to kill Will Smith's character as well. So Will Smith's character is Ward, and the Orc is Jacoby. Will Smith ends up killing the bad cops and protecting his partner. But then they're on the run from the Elves now that are trying to capture this other elf that's with them. So the elf that's hunting them is Layla, and the elf they're protecting is Tika. Tika has Layla's wand, and she's a bride, of course. And so is Layla. So Layla's trying to get her wand back so she can summon the Dark Lord. And basically they're running through the bad streets of LA, getting shot at and beat up. You know, they're running from Orcs and humans and gangsters and thugs and Orc mafias and things like that, trying to protect this wand. Meanwhile, the FBI has a magic division, so they're trying to find this wand to get it out of circulation. There's a few weird scenes in this one. Towards the beginning of the movie, Will Smith and his partner arrest this guy claiming to be a part of the Shield of Light, and he's like standing in the middle of the street, like swinging a sword, filthy, and I guess he's just there to kind of push the plot forward, because that's what brings in the feds of magic. But then you find out he's a part of the Shield of Light, and it's kind of odd that, like, the Shield of Light is letting him be out there and do, you know, stand in the street and scream all this crazy stuff, because, you know, you'd think they'd want to be a little bit more secretive. But whatever. So that whole scene with him, like, standing in the street swinging the sword was a little odd to me, kind of pointless, because if I was a part of Shield of Light, I wouldn't want them to know what's going on. I want to keep everything in a secret. The partner chemistry between Will Smith and the guy playing his orc, and I can't think of his name right now, he was also in Suicide Squad. It's good. They work well together. It's interesting because, you know, you've got Will Smith, who's like a seasoned police officer, and this orc's like a rookie, and so you're kind of experiencing being a cop for the first time through the orc's eyes. You know, in the movie, he gets in like his first shootout, he shoots his first criminal, and all that other stuff. And so you've got Will Smith, who's like trying to help him through this a little bit, but at the same time, you know, Will Smith doesn't necessarily trust him to begin with because of when he got shot. Because when he got shot, the orc was off getting lunch or something. He was bringing Will Smith's character a burrito. He was trying to be nice, and then after Will Smith gets shot, that Jacoby chases down the orc, and the orc gets away. So there's a lot of backlash to that. A lot of people think that he followed his orc bloodlines or blood packs and just let the guy get away. Well, you find out later that he didn't let the guy get away. He lost the original guy, and the guy he let get away was a kid who was just tagging stuff with spray paint, and he knew if they showed up, if the cops showed up and there was an orc there, they would just kill that kid. So he helped that kid escape to get out of the vicinity, but he lost track of the other guy, and he knows that for sure because they have a high sense of smell. So finally that comes out, you know, and him and Will Smith's character, they have to work through that, because Will Smith's like, I don't care if you lie to, you know, the captain and stuff like that, but you come clean with me. I'm your partner. That's what should happen. You should always be honest with me. So there's not a lot of backstory in this movie, which is interesting, because, you know, they hint at, you know, the fact that orcs made a bad decision 2,000 years ago, and now they're paying for it. You get glimpses of like this wand and these elves, and like the elves are like the snooty. They're basically like the rich version of society. They're very snooty. They think highly of themselves. And then magic is very limited in society, so there's not a lot of backstory, and it leaves a lot of interpretation open, but it also leaves Netflix the chance to make a lot of other movies based on this particular idea, and I think that's awesome, because I like the idea of having like Lord of the Rings in modern times. So to have magic and guns and swords and all that other stuff, I think that's really cool. Big spoiler for this movie is that Will Smith ends up being a Bright, and it's not even really a spoiler if you don't realize that he's a Bright before you even get close to the end of the movie. You missed a few hits along the way. Overall, this was a good movie. It's again, there's a lot of like backstory that needs to be filled in, but I've heard that Netflix has already ordered a Bright 2, so I'm sure we'll get that movie. I think it'll be great. I think it'll be a good addition to this. I don't know if they'll continue from here forward, or if they'll go back and tell a different story, or even go further back and tell the story of the orcs. I personally kind of hope we get a couple different Bright movies from Netflix, because I'd like to see this series flourish a little bit. It might even actually have worked better as a TV show, and that would have given them more time to flush out details, flush out backstory, and things like that. But if you haven't seen Bright on Netflix, it stars Will Smith. It's, like I said, it's about orcs and elves, and they mention dwarves. You don't ever really see any. Magic and guns. It's all set in modern day. It's a good movie. It's definitely a good watch. I don't think it was very long. It didn't feel very long. I think it might have been a little over an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 50 minutes. Yeah, again, it definitely didn't feel long. I got into it. I enjoyed it. It was just a simple movie that you could just watch and enjoy, and there was no like big blockbuster fanfare behind it or anything like that. So give Bride a chance. I just happened to watch it because I had some downtime last night, and I enjoyed it. And I think you would enjoy it. I don't think it's necessarily a kid movie. There's a lot of violence and stuff in it. But I mean, I watched Rambo at like the age of 5, so I don't know if I can really give you that kind of credit. So, anyways, Bright on Netflix, starring Will Smith. Give it a chance. See if you enjoy it. Let me know if you enjoy it. Let me know if there's anything on Netflix that I should check out. Ladies and gentlemen, till tomorrow.